Hello, I'm Kelsey and I'm here with your free Hatha Yoga at home class. Today we're going to go over the 3 pillars of yoga. We're going to start with breathing practices, we'll move into asana, and we will finish with meditation. So if you haven't already, find yourself a nice comfortable space, a yoga mat or a towel, a blanket, just something a little bit extra cushy underneath you to support you throughout our practice. Thank you for joining me, and let's begin. To start, come on to a comfortable seated position. You can have legs crossed, you can have legs sitting out in front of you, really however you feel most comfortable and most supported seating. You can also take a pillow if you want and place it underneath you so that you're sitting up a little higher if that's more comfortable for you. Again, just make yourself comfortable where you can sit and not feel discomfort or not at ease. So we'll start by closing the eyes. We'll roll those shoulders down away from the ears, start to let go of that tension in the shoulders, and start to just focus on the breath. Don't take over the breath, just notice the breath. Allow yourself to just breathe naturally and feel where you rise and fall when you take these inhales and exhales. Whether you're breathing in deep or shallow, fast or slow, just notice the rhythm of your breath. Now we'll start to take over the breath and take a nice deep inhale, letting the breath fill down all the way towards the belly, letting the belly come out as we breathe in, slowly filling the lungs from the bottom all the way up to the top of the collarbones, and exhaling from the collarbones down through to the belly, gently pulling in the abs to help squeeze out that extra air. So just taking these long breaths in deep through to the bottom of the lungs and exhaling from the top of the lungs to the bottom. If you'd like, you can place your hand on your lower belly to help feel your way through this. Breathing in deep down to the belly first, filling up to the collarbones. And exhaling from the collarbones down through to the belly. Just follow your breath in and out. Now that we've relaxed the body, we'll begin with our first pranayama practice. Pranayama simply means breathing practice or breathing technique, and that is alom vilom, which means alternate nostril breathing. So what we're going to do in this breathing practice is you can take your hand and you'll use your thumb and your middle finger, and you'll use each of them to plug either side of the nose, each nostril. And we're going to be taking those long, deep belly breaths that we just practiced into this practice with us. So when I tell you to breathe deeply and all of those things, it's just the exact same practice we were just practicing, only we are doing alternate nostrils. So let us begin without further ado. We'll start by plugging the left nostril and take a nice deep breath through the right nostril. Hold at the top of the breath for a moment. Unplug the left nostril, plug the right nostril, and exhale out of the left nostril. Hold the breath at the bottom of the breath for just a moment And then inhale through the left nostril. Plug the left nostril, open the right. Exhale. Inhale through the right. Hold. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug the left nostril. Exhale through the right. And we're going to keep moving nice and slow, back and forth for a few minutes. And as you inhale, make a mental count to yourself. So if you count up to 5 as you inhale, try to count to 5 as you exhale. And then as you go a couple rounds like that, try to expand that to 6. Try to get to a 6 count inhale and a 6 count exhale. Try to gradually move it to a 7 count inhale, 7 count exhale. And we're gradually, very slowly expanding and lengthening the breath. So again, just following that back and forth movement, and we'll go for about 6 or 7 more rounds. This practice is great for balancing the psyche, balancing the mind. It's also great for, you can continue your practice as I speak. It's great for balancing the male and female energies, or the yin-yang energies, sun, moon, whatever you want to call it, within your body, the left and right. This is a great exercise to help integrate the left and right hemispheres of the brain, and is just overall a very, very cleansing practice for the body and the mind. So we'll finish up with that practice. Wherever you are in your rhythm, going back and forth, just end with closing that left nostril and exhaling out of the right, and then just come to a gentle seated position whenever you're ready. I will wait a few more moments to let everybody finish up their round wherever they are. And again, just sit with the hands down. They can come down onto the knees. And just take a few moments to take a few breaths with both nostrils open. And just feel any subtle differences that you might start to notice from when you first sat down on your mat today. Maybe an overall feeling of a little bit slowing down, a little bit of calmness, presence, being right here, right now, and feeling that lightness that comes with those feelings. Feeling the connectedness to your breath, to your body, to your mind, to your soul. And know that through the breath, we are connected to all things. It's our sacred tool to connect instantly to that deeper piece of ourselves that's also part of everything else. We can bring our hands to heart center and just take a small bow to yourself and to everything else that exists in this universe, because it's all part of us. All right, let's move on to our asana. From here, we are going to gently move our legs out in front of us. And we're going to do some just gentle joint movements here. So you can stretch those legs out. You can shake out the knees. You can move the neck from side to side, however you may need to. Maybe a couple neck rotations. And here we're going to do just a couple joint movements to help warm up the body. We'll start with the feet, and we'll start with the left foot, and we'll just start to rotate that ankle around and around. Actually, we'll do both feet. I lied. And then we're going to put that, rotate them the opposite direction. Yoga brain. And then we're going to bring our attention to this left leg. Place the hands underneath the knee and just draw some circles with the big toe. And you can move that toe in the opposite direction. Draw the circle the other way. And then here, we're going to bring that foot up towards us, and we're just going to kind of rock from side to side, opening up that hip. If you'd like, you can place this left foot into into your right elbow and bring the other arm around. But if that is not where you are, or if that does not feel comfortable for you, then I would say just grab that foot, support that knee, and just gently rock from side to side, starting to open up that hip. And we can relax, release that leg down, bring our attention to the right side. We'll lift that right leg up, hands underneath your knee, and again, draw those circles with that right knee, or with that right toe. And opposite direction. And again, we're going to bring that right foot in towards us. You can just grab it with your left hand. Keep that right hand on the outside of the right knee, and you can just gently rock from side to side here. If you want to, you can bring that foot all the way into your left elbow and gently rock from side to side, however you feel most comfortable. And we can gently release and let that leg go. Shake it out a little bit. And we'll do one gentle forward fold here. We want to move our feet so that our feet are about hip width apart, allowing us to really get a nice deep forward fold. So a forward fold is not as simple as just bending over and reaching as far as you can. A forward fold very much keeps your spine very straight the entire time, and it's really working on pulling the backs of the legs, really stretching and lengthening there, and also opening up through the hips. And so when we arc the spine there in the upper spine and curve and hunch, that completely defeats the purpose. It allows the lower spine to curve outwards, and we don't get that hip opening in the back that we are looking for. So the key point here is to keep your spine nice and straight, keep the heart pointed forward, and act as if there's a string connected right here to your sternum where it's pulling you forward. And so you can't let that go down. It's coming forward. We're moving forward. So here we go. From here, we'll take a nice big inhale, lift those arms up nice and tall. Do not worry about touching the toes here whatsoever. We're just gonna, again, work on moving forward with the heart. So let those hands come down, start to reach forward, coming forward with the chest, letting the spine be nice and straight. Let the hands come down and let them fall wherever they may, whether that's on your shins, your knees, the floor next to you, whether you are grabbing your feet, however you want to be. Just again, making sure we have a nice straight spine and reaching forward. If we are pulling ourselves forward at all, we can pull those elbows to the side so that we're really opening up through that chest. And we'll take a couple deep breaths here. Notice that we're coming back to those deep belly breaths that we practiced in the beginning. And that with each exhale, we can get a little bit deeper into our pose. Now, yes, you can see that my spine is bending right here, but from here to my neck is very much straight. We're not hunching over here at all. We are just taking our nice deep breaths, letting the body slowly move forward. From here, we can slowly bring ourselves back, and we're going to come into a four-legged position or onto our hands and knees. We want the wrist, elbow, and shoulder to all be in a line, and the knees to be directly below the hips, hip width apart. And here we're going to do just a few cat-cows to loosen up the spine. From here, we dip the spine down, take a nice big inhale, bring the crown of the head and the tailbone up towards the sky. And as you exhale, pull the crown of the head and the tailbone down and squeeze into your cat pose. Squeezing the spine, squeezing the abs, and really getting all that air out. So again, inhaling, bringing the crown of the head and the tailbone up, and exhaling in. Again, our awareness is always with the breath and moving our body with the breath. After your last exhale, you can come to a neutral spine. And here we're gonna move into a very abbreviated yoga or asana practice. We're gonna move into down dog. I'm gonna show you warrior 1, warrior 2, and pigeon pose. And then we'll be back to the floor. So from here, we're gonna tuck those toes and we're gonna straighten and lengthen our legs back for a downward facing dog. Here we want to plant the hands nice and strong into our mat, and we're going to press back through those shoulders. Let the head come between the arms. You want to let your ears come right by your biceps on either side of your arms, right in the middle, and you can bring your gaze towards the back of your mat. We want to be pressing our heels down towards the ground. If they're not touching the ground, no worries, that's fine. But we just want to have the idea of pressing those feet down. If it's a little bit too painful for the backs of your legs, you can have a slight bend in the knees. But just if that's where you're at, have the goal of gently starting to lengthen and straighten out through the legs. So this is our downward facing dog. And this is an excellent pose for the whole body to get very energized and strengthened. You can also alternate bending the knees, or called walking the dog, which is good for your hips and just helps lengthen, straighten, and create some space. So from here, we're going to move into warrior 2. We're going to lift our right leg up and we're going to bring it in, planting it between our hands right there. We're going to turn the heel of our left foot out so that the toes of our left foot are pointing to this long side of our mat. From here, we're going to windmill our arms up, coming in to our warrior 2 on this side. Sorry if my head's cut off. Sorry, guys. Anyway, here, the important things are our feet placement. So we want to make sure that our knee is above the ankle, not going past the ankle, or it can be behind it, but just don't go past it. Ideally, we want to be right above that ankle there. Nice deep bend here. We want that left leg to be nice and straight and strong, pressing back through the outer edge of that left foot. And we have a really balanced, strong foundation here. We're not leaning too much on this leg. We're not leaning back too much on this leg. We are nice and balanced and in the middle. So from here, once you have your legs placed exactly where you feel you need, make sure you can take a peek down and see your right toe. If you can't, try to move that knee a little bit out so that you can see that right big toe. We'll bring our hands to heart center. And from here, we're gonna bring those arms out to the side and into a nice straight line. So again, we're not leaning forward and reaching here. We're staying straight and aligned and in the middle. Arms straight out, fingertips straight and energized. We're not loosey-goosey, we're nice and energized. Palms can be down towards the ground. Traditionally they are. If you'd like, you can be up towards the sky, but that's a little strange. So let's stick with the tradition and keep our palms down. All right, so this is our warrior two. Super great pose for opening up our hips, lengthening through the legs again, and strengthening the pelvic floor. So from our warrior two, we can switch it to the other side. We'll lift up through that right arm, drop that left arm back, big breath in. Exhale, you can windmill them around. Bring that right foot back. And here we're gonna just bring those knees down. You can come back to a child's pose if you'd like, or just let the head come down for a moment. You can just shake it out through the hips. And then we're gonna come right back into our downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna lift up our left leg nice and tall. Bring it through, plant it between the legs. And we're gonna go into warrior two on this side. Sorry for confusing you guys. And so again, we're gonna turn that heel of that right foot out towards the back, or so that the toes are pointing to the long side of our mat. Toes of our left foot are pointing towards the top of our mat, and we're gonna open up to the long side of our mat here. So here's our warrior two on the left side. I'm gonna switch it around so that you guys can see me. But not to confuse you, so that, because I did just totally switch orientation on my own mat. So here's our warrior two on our left side. Again, we wanna look down and make sure that we can see that big toe on the left foot. We also wanna make sure that that left knee is stacked right over that ankle or behind it, not going past it. And we wanna be pressing through the outer edge of that right leg with a nice strong foundation that's balancing us right in the middle, coming up nice and strong. And again, palms down, arms out, gaze down the middle finger of our left arm. Again, take some deep belly breaths here. When we come out of the pose, we can bring that right arm back, lift back through the left arm, drop the left arm down, windmill that right arm around, and come back into our plank. You can drop those knees down and come into a child's pose here, and or just shake out the hips, move around, shake it out. And from here, we're going to be just going over warrior one next, and then we'll be doing pigeon, and then we'll be moving into our meditation. So warrior one is another really great pose for the hips, the core, and just where warrior two is a long pose where we're opening up to the long side of our mat and we're opening up through the hips. In this pose, we are strengthening through the glutes and the hips, and we are keeping a nice strong closed hip pose. So those are the main differences, and that's why you should be practicing both warrior one and warrior two pretty much all the time in any practice that you have. When you feel like you need those things, of course, but they are two powerhouse poses that you should always have in your arsenal. So without further ado, let's move into warrior one. So we're going to place those hands down. We're going to come back into our downward facing dog again. From here, we'll lift that right leg up nice and tall. We'll bring it through our hands and plant it down. This time we're going to keep that heel of the toes of the left foot pointed towards kind of, I guess, kitty corner, kind of at a 45-degree angle. We'll start to lift up through that right leg and come into our warrior one here. So again, we have a lot of the same elements of warrior two. where we have that nice deep bend in the right leg. The knee is directly over the ankle. Do not go past it, stay behind it. And then, but the difference here is that our hips are squared up towards the short side of our mat, and we're feeling that lengthening and that stretching in the top of our thigh here in this hip area versus the pelvic floor. So we're pressing back through the heel of the left foot, but again, that left foot is pointed at about a 45-degree angle out towards the side of our mat. From here, again, I apologize, can't see my head, but lift the arms up nice and tall, palms facing each other, as if you're holding a beach ball above your head, is the best way I can describe it. And just taking those deep belly breaths here. We want to keep a nice strong core. We don't want to be bending into the low spine at all. We want to be nice and strong and straight. Feeling that deep opening in that top of the left leg. We can take some deep breaths. I always recommend about 3 to 5 breaths. 7 if you're really trying to hold that pose, but about 3 to 5 breaths in every pose when you hold. So we can just bring those hands down, bring that left foot back, or that right foot back to meet our left, and we can come down to a child's pose. Just bring those toes together, drop back, let the arms reach forward, let the head come down, shake it out, move it out through the hips, and you can come right back to your downward facing dog. And from here, we'll lift that left leg up nice and tall, bring the left leg through, plant it between the hands, and again, just plant that heel down of the right foot. Heel, or the toes are at about a 45-degree angle out to the side. And we're going to come up into our warrior one on this side. So again, our hips are squared up towards the front of our mat. We want that knee to be right above that ankle or behind it. We want to be pressing back nice and strong through that outer edge of the right foot, opening up through the top of that left thigh, or the right thigh. We're going to sit nice and deep into this pose, taking some deep breaths. And again, like I said, about 3 to 5 breaths. Long, deep yogic breaths, not short breaths per pose. Here's what I recommend when you're doing movement poses like this. We can start to bring those hands down. We'll bring that left foot back to meet our right. You can go right back into a down dog if you want, or you can go down into that child's pose, letting the knees come down, toes, big toes come together, knees come apart, and let the head come down. Take a few deep breaths here before we move into our pigeon poses. And slowly begin to lift up, walking our hands back nice and gently. And here we're going to come into a four-legged position or tabletop position. And we're going to come into our pigeon pose in a nice, gentle way. So from here, we're just going to start to bring that left knee up towards our left wrist. And then we want that left ankle to come anywhere between this right hip and our right wrist. So you can get it nice and squared up there if you want, but it's by no means necessary. So from here, from your knee in this position, just start to drop your right leg back and start to sink back into this pigeon pose. If you need to, you can lift up a little bit and kind of inch that knee forward a little. And here, we are coming into our pigeon. So we want to sit up nice and tall, and we're really getting that deep, deep stretch through this glute area. Once we're nice and comfortable here, or as comfy as we can be, we can start to drop our arms forward, just inching ourselves down gently, gently. And letting our elbows and forearms come down to the ground. Let the palms come down to the ground. And you just want to let the body start to relax. Take a few deep breaths. Tune into your deep yogic breaths. Bring that air all the way down to the belly button. Feel that expansion in the breath and how we can really massage that low glute area with the breath as we breathe in and out. And each exhale we can release some tension, sinking in a little bit deeper. If you'd like, you can let out some nice heavy sighs. This cues to your body that it's okay to let go, that it's safe to let go. If you find yourself clenching at the mat or clenching your hands, try to open the palms, turning them up towards the sky. Taking those deep belly breaths. Take a couple more breaths. As a hip opener, these poses can open up a lot of emotions and a lot of floodgates. Don't be alarmed if anything just comes up for you and you're like, wow, why do I feel so frustrated or whatever all of a sudden. Like, this is your body releasing that tension. We store all of our emotional tension in the hips and the pelvic floor, and this is definitely a pose that tests both of those areas and really makes you release those things. Knowing that, take one more deep belly breath and just let yourself exhale out all of that tension, everything you've ever built up. Just let it go right now. Let it go. You can slowly start to lift up through the arms, meaning pressing up through the arms. Gently coming up. And we want to move out of this pose just as mindfully and gently as we came in. So as we do that, we want to gently press into the palms. As you do, you can slowly start to inch that right leg up towards you. You can then place that knee down, bring your left leg out, and come back into a tabletop position. You can extend that left leg out if you like and just do a couple movements there, opening it up if you want to just kind of freestyle that leg around. Let that hip movement feel, or that hip opening, I guess, space get moved around. So from here, we're going to move to our pigeon pose on the right side. So you can come back into a child's pose if you'd like to just kind of lengthen those arms out, press back through the hips, equalize the hips out for a moment. Notice the difference between each, the left and the right. Whew. And let's open up some space in the right side. So we'll come back up to that four-legged posture. Bring that right knee up towards that right wrist, and then the right ankle anywhere between the left wrist and the left hip. From here, you can start to extend that left leg back and straighten it out. Let that foot come down, and as we do so, we can kind of gently move that leg forward if we need to. However, we need to get nice and comfortable here in this pose, sitting back through the hips. And taking a couple breaths here before we dive down into our swan. So this is called pigeon pose. A full pigeon, you bring this leg up and you reach the arms back. But in this pigeon variation, some people call it the swan, and that's where we then start to come forward, let the arms relax. This is much more of a yin yoga pose, where you spend more time and you're working on lengthening and stretching that muscle area versus any sort of strengthening or muscle building. So get nice and comfortable here. Start to take some nice big breaths. Notice any differences between the left and right side. If maybe the left was more difficult, left's difficult, just notice these things. Don't judge these things. Just notice them and work on them within yourself. Take those deep belly breaths. You can have those nice heavy exhales. Turn the palms towards the sky in an act of surrender and release. And take a few more breaths here. Again, letting that emotional tension leave with every exhale, creating new space. After your last exhale, you can gently begin to press through the hands. And again, coming out of the pose with as much care as we moved in, just gently pulling that left leg up to support us, and then bringing that right leg back. Again, you can extend that leg back, you can shake it out, you do whatever you need to do. After doing pigeon on both sides, I highly recommend doing a down dog, just because it helps to really open up that space. Ooh, and you really feel that difference in the sacrum area, in the low back after that pigeon. Oh yeah, I'm cracking all over the place. Taking a couple deep breaths, we can let those knees come back down to the ground. Bring the big toes together, come back to the child's pose, head to the floor. Few deep breaths. We'll come back onto all fours. Bring the feet out in front of us. And we're going to lay back onto the spine for a very brief savasana before we move into our meditation. So for savasana, we lay ourselves back onto our spines. You can roll those shoulders away from your ears, pull them away. Let the palms face towards the sky. You want your legs or your heels to be about hip width apart or mat width apart. Let those toes fall out to the side if you can, if that feels comfortable. Close your eyes and just take a few deep, long breaths. Savasana is corpse pose in yoga, and this is the time for your body to be on one equal level where the blood flow, the flow of your lymph fluids, your digestive tract, all of the things can just take a moment to integrate, to rid of toxins, and to really just bring your whole practice together into your body and through your body. With every exhale, imagine you're sinking a little bit deeper into your mat, a little bit further away from your body awareness, just sinking into your mat, really letting yourself relax, release, and come back totally re-energized. You can slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your body, gently wiggling the fingers and the toes, just slowly letting your awareness come back. We want to keep those eyes closed, keeping our awareness turned inward, keeping it internal. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to lift your left arm up and lay it down next to your mat, or on your mat next to you. And then turn to your left side in a fetal type position. You can use that left arm as a pillow and just relax here for a couple breaths. Preparing your body for the rest of your day or what's to come. Preparing ourselves for our meditation practice. And whenever you're ready, you can, again, keeping those eyes closed, just gently press yourself up, nice and slowly. Coming into a comfortable seated position. Again, leaving those eyes closed and letting yourself just sit up nice and tall through the spine. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Let the crown of the head rise up towards the sky. And just check in with the body. Take some gentle, natural breaths. The hands can be on the knees, palms down or palms up. Whatever feels better for you in the moment. You can also have the hands together in your lap. Just find a nice comfortable seated position as we gently move into our meditation practice. This will be a short 5 to 10 minute meditation, and we will come out feeling clear, connected, and at ease. So find a comfortable seated position. Place the hands somewhere where you will not be tempted to move them for the duration of the practice, as that creates distraction, and the body loves to distract us. So, coming into a nice, comfortable, quiet, seated position. We want to keep those eyes closed, and this is going to be a very simple meditation. We're going to use the ancient mantra of Sat Nam, S-A-T-N-A-M, Sat Nam, 2 words, very easy. The Sat is truth, Nam is name, so essentially this translates to I am truth, or my name is truth, I am, however you want to translate it. But the ancient mantra is Sat Nam. And how we're going to meditate with this is on every inhale, we simply breathe in the word Sat, thinking the word Sat to ourselves as we inhale, and as we exhale, thinking or saying aloud the word Nam, and just following our breath. Every inhale, Sat, every exhale, Nam. Again, I find this best if you just say it in your head. You can say it out loud though, if you'd like. So, closing the eyes, keeping those eyes closed, we can begin with our Sat Nam meditation. Inhaling on the word Sat, and exhaling Nam. Any other thoughts or things, distractions that come into your psyche other than these 2 words and our breath, gently let those things go. Let them move forward. Let them float away. Don't fight them. Don't try to push or kick them away, or else they'll hold on longer. Just notice the thought and don't let anything go to it. No emotion, no connection. Notice the thought and let it go. Come back to your Sat Nam. Come back to your truth name. Come back to the practice. Let us begin. Always coming back to Sat Nam. Inhaling the word Sat, exhaling the word Nam. Finish your last round of Satnam wherever you are. And gently bring those hands into heart center. Let the thumbs touch the chest and take a few deep breaths. You can rub those hands together, create some heat and energy there. Place those warm hands over the closed eyes or the slightly opening eyes. You can massage the face, massage the neck, the shoulders, wherever you feel like you need, maybe the legs, the hips, thighs, the feet. Just thank your body for everything it's done for you before this moment, all it'll continue to do for you after this moment. Send yourself gratitude for this practice, the gratitude to you for sharing your practice with me. And I hope you go on living a very connected and peaceful day, my friend. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti means peace, and we chant it once for peace within ourselves, once for peace between ourselves and others, and once for universal peace. So if you'd like to join me one more time, I will do a Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and you can join me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's practice. And if you'd like to know anything more about Hatha Yoga and meditation, pranayama, any and all of those things, go over to my website at kelseyhoughton.com. You can check out yoga courses, you can check out YouTube videos, how-tos, blogs, all sorts of good stuff for you. Thank you for sharing your practice, and I hope you enjoyed this with your day. Namaste. Hey guys, I got one more thing for you. So coming up here in January, I'm going to be starting my course Path to Inner Peace, and that's going to be a 12-week course where we go over asana, pranayama, and meditation in depth, and we dive into ancient yogic practices and philosophy and really get the juiciness of yoga for those 12 weeks. This is my cat, Shiva. He always shows up when I'm recording. Anyway, so Path to Inner Peace is going to be a really transformational course where you can do it completely on your own time. You will have access to lives every single week and ask me questions and all sorts of things like that. And I am always available email as well. And this course is really for the person who wants to have that at-home practice that feels authentic and true and aligned, but you don't want to go to the yoga studio to figure it out, or you go to the yoga studio and it doesn't feel like that. So this course is designed to make you feel aligned in your practice from home, learning straight from me, having all the support you need for these whole 12 weeks where you get to keep all the videos to reference back to. We'll do pretty much cover all the yoga poses, breathing practices, meditation practices, and you will walk away with the inner peace of a yogic sage. So if that sounds good to you, you can go to my website to join or enroll right now. Enrollment is open. And again, we're starting January 8th. So it's going to be 1 week after the new year. So we can get through all the holiday madness. I'm a mom of 3, and so I totally get it.
And then we're going to start the new year super fresh with our Path to Inner Peace course. So I really hope you join me, and I'm so excited to see you guys inside.